Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Tea and Emily Adventures. Excuse me. In today's episode, we're going to be making Welsh cakes. Now, Welsh cakes, I will say, are one of the biggest staples of Welsh history. The most favourite choice for Welsh baking. There's obviously other things like Barabith, for example, but Welsh cakes are especially a staple in this household. So, for this recipe, you are going to need 220 grams of self-raising flour. You're going to need 110 grams of margarine or butter. For this one, I'm going to use margarine. I prefer margarine in sweet baking as opposed to savoury baking. You're also going to need 55 grams of caster sugar, 1 or 2 free-range eggs, depending on how your mixture goes. I believe the eggs you'll be mixing together with separately, whisked together to then keep an eye on how much liquid you are putting into your bowl. You'll also need 1 to 2 handfuls of sultanas, and obviously a mixing bowl. So we're going to start by whisking our eggs. So take 1 egg, crack it into the bowl. You need both egg yolk and egg white, the whole egg. So crack those 2 in there. It'd be easier to mix them in their own separate bowls, purely for the fact of if you need more or less, depending on how thick your mixture is going to be. Okay, next we are going to put the flour and the margarine together. I don't have a sieve, so we're going to do it the old-fashioned way. Plump out all of the lumps that see when you shake it. Give it a good whack on the surface to make sure. You're going to now make sure this is room temperature to make this a bit easier for you. Take these and mix it the same way as you would making pastry. Little bits. And then we are going to finally rub it together. So we're going to start by rubbing it together. We've got to this point now. Okay, now we're at this point where we're going to add the caster sugar and the sultanas. Now, it's up to you how many you actually want to use, but I love sultanas in mine personally. So we're just going to slowly add our sugar and then mix it in. You can still use your hands, but I'm not really a huge fan at this point. So I just start using the back of a spoon, start melding things together a little bit. It's not going to be completely incorporated because we haven't got any wet mixture in here other than the margarine. So just keep going until your sugar dissolves into the mixture. You're then going to add sultanas. Add them slowly at a time. Up to you how many you want to have. Again, it's all down to taste. I'm going to add a couple more. And this is the part now we are going to add the egg. So, if it's a bit too dry, you can keep adding it, but I would recommend a little egg at a time because you don't want too much egg in here, otherwise it'll just be way too sticky. But if it's too moist, again, you can use more flour to add a smidgen bit more flour. I wouldn't add too much because you will be adding some to a surface to roll it out in a second. So don't stress too much if it's not completely bound together. Here we go. So here is our dough. Doesn't look like you put much sultanas in there, does it? Okie dokie. Now we're at this part where you flour your work surface. I would recommend putting a towel on the floor just to make sure you catch any flour that falls off, otherwise that's a lot of extra cleaning for you. So here's my rolling pin. We've had this thing for a very, very long time. So go ahead and place your pastry mix on there. Make sure your pastry is ready. Put a bit of flour on your rolling pin and then start rolling it out. You're going to probably need about 2 inches. I'm doing them a little bit thinner because I want more. So start by squeezing that down. My whole thing fell out there and is, well, that is a lot thinner than what you'd normally have. But again, I want some thin ones. I want a couple of them. So there's 2. Okay, now is the time for cooking your Welsh cakes. So if you are from Wales, you'll more likely have a bake stone. It's a very thick metal. I'm not going to pick it up because it's been on heat for a while. This is a killer. This will kill your fingers. So I would recommend not to touch this at all. So I'm going to get the margarine and I'm just going to make a little circle just so it stays. And then we're going to put the Welsh cake down. If it bubbles that much, it's probably too high. So I would recommend turning it down because this thing heats up to no end. Okay, that's been a minute or 2. Let's start flipping this over again. There you go, they're looking pretty good. Now these back ones are looking a little pale. So what I'm going to do is swap them all around a little bit. They should be a little thicker now, so they're not going to fall apart as easily. These back ones still may be a little undercooked, so be careful if you're going to move them around. Depends on where you put them on your hob. You can put them in the oven if you want to cook your bake stones in the oven. That's also fine. I'm going to put a smidgen bit more butter down there, or marge even. Cook the last one. Squash that in the middle. Make little eyeballs. There we go. Now we leave it for, I don't know, I'd say just let it be. I'd say leave another 2-3 minutes, especially these back ones are almost done. They have also risen, some of them have. These are a lot thicker now than they once were. So love them and leave them, come back in about 5 minutes. Okay, now this has had 5 more minutes. Let's turn these over. I would say these back ones are pretty much done. That one I'm going to leave a little longer. This is our new one. Okay, now we are at a point where they should be done. So start taking them off. Be careful not to burn yourself out. Now to finish off, before your Welsh cakes get too cool, grab a plate. Grab the sugar, cane sugar that you used earlier. Caster sugar, shove that some on a plate. And then whilst they're still warm, coat them in a bit of sugar, tap off the excess. And there you go. Well done. Okay, now you know how to make Welsh cakes. Let me know down below if you make them yourself. I'm so close to the camera, good lord. if you make them yourself, if this is something that you've made before, if you've never tried them before, if you have tried them, let me know your opinions of the Welsh cakes. If you make them differently, let me know so I can try for next time. Thank you for coming. Please like and subscribe, share, all that good stuff. You don't have to, but I'd like it if you did. Thank you. And have a good day. Peace.